Hello, dreamers. We're thrilled you've joined us at Yannie the Dreamer Story Channel. Get ready for fun-filled, adventurous tales that you and your family will love, all packed with valuable lessons that come to life. The Honest Heart. In a lush, green forest by a sparkling river lived Toby, a small turtle with an emerald green shell known for his honesty. One sunny afternoon, as Toby basked by the river, his mischievous friend Roxy the Raccoon scampered up. Toby, Roxy panted. I accidentally knocked over Mrs. Owl's vase and broke it. She's going to be so mad. What should I do? Toby, eyes reflecting the gentle ripples of the river, thought for a moment. The best thing to do, Roxy, is to tell Mrs. Owl the truth. She will appreciate your honesty. Roxy frowned, her whiskers twitching nervously. But what if she gets really angry at me? Toby smiled reassuringly. She might be upset at first, but she will respect you for telling the truth. Trust me, honesty is the only policy. Roxy nodded, still worried. Together they made their way to Mrs. Owl's tree. Along the way they passed various animals, Sasha the squirrel, hello! Barry the beaver, hello there, and Henry the hedgehog.
Hello.
All of whom greeted Toby warmly, knowing him as the trustworthy turtle. At Mrs. Owl's tree, she was perched high on a branch, looking wise and stern. Her big, round eyes blinked slowly as she regarded the visitors. Hello, Mrs. Owl, Toby began, respectfully. Roxy has something to tell you. Roxy took a deep breath. Mrs. Owl, I'm really sorry, but I accidentally broke your vase. I didn't mean to, and I feel terrible about it. Mrs. Owl's eyes widened, her expression unreadable. Then, to Roxy's surprise, her stern expression softened. Thank you for telling me the truth, Roxy. Accidents happen, and I appreciate your honesty. It's important to own up to our mistakes. Roxy sighed with relief, her shoulders relaxing. I'll help you clean up the pieces and try to fix it, she offered sincerely. Mrs. Owl nodded, her feathers ruffling slightly. That would be very kind of you, Roxy. And next time, please be more careful. As Roxy and Mrs. Owl worked together to clean up the broken vase, Toby watched with a satisfied smile. He knew that being honest wasn't always easy, but it was always the right thing to do. Other forest animals noticed the scene, and word of Roxy's honesty spread quickly, enhancing her reputation in the forest. Later that evening, Roxy and Toby sat by the river, their reflections shimmering in the water. Thank you, Toby, Roxy said, her voice filled with gratitude. You were right. Telling the truth was the best thing to do. Toby nodded, his eyes twinkling in the fading light. Honesty builds trust, and trust is the foundation of all our friendships. Remember, Roxy, no matter how hard it seems, the truth is always worth telling. As they sat in comfortable silence, the forest around them came alive with the gentle sounds of nighttime. Roxy looked up at the sky and then at her friend Toby. You know, Toby, I think I've learned something really important today. Being honest not only made things right with Mrs. Owl, but it also made me feel better. I don't have to carry the worry of hiding the truth. Toby smiled, proud of his friend. That's the beauty of honesty, Roxy. It sets you free and strengthens the bonds we share with others. You've shown great courage today. Roxy's eyes sparkled with newfound understanding. I won't forget this lesson, Toby. Thank you for being such a good friend. Suddenly, Roxy's ears perked up as she heard a faint rustling in the bushes nearby. Out stepped Mrs. Owl, holding her vase perfectly intact. Mrs. Owl, your vase isn't broken, Roxy exclaimed in shock. Mrs. Owl smiled warmly. Indeed, it isn't. Roxy, I needed to see if you would tell the truth when it mattered most. The vase you saw was an old one I no longer needed. Your honesty and willingness to help showed me your true character. Toby's smile widened, and he looked at Roxy with pride. You see, Roxy, honesty is always worth it, no matter the situation. Roxy and Toby's bond grew even stronger, solidifying their friendship in the glow of a moonlit forest, where truth and trust reigned supreme. The end. If you enjoy the story, please show your support by hitting the subscribe and like buttons. Your support means a lot to us to help us create more inspiring and lesson-filled bedtime stories for you and your children to enjoy. Thank you, and see you on our next story.